Hi, boys and girls. I'm here today to talk to you about Earth Day. Earth Day is coming up next week on April 22nd, and it is a day to celebrate the Earth. But with us all being quarantined at home or staying far away from people, you might not really know what to do to help your Earth this year. Well, one thing that you can do is you can plant a garden or just plant some seeds in a pot. The average American meal travels about 1,500 miles from your farm to your plate. So you might be eating oranges or bananas from South America and they're traveling even farther, or strawberries from California, or blueberries from Maine, for instance. So most of our food travels really far. And when food is traveling really far, it's coming to us through planes or boats or trucks, and all of those things burn fossil fuel, which then creates emissions, which create greenhouse gases, which are not good for our environment either, as that can lead to climate change and global warming and the greenhouse effect. So, one thing that we can do is we can try to plant our own gardens and get food from closer to home. So we're lucky enough to have lots of local farm markets and the farmers are really close by. But if you want to have food that comes from even closer by, you can start experimenting on your own with planting. Now, with people not going to the stores, there may or may not be seeds available at, let's say, your local Tractor Supply store or Lowe's or something like that. So if you're stuck at home and you want to try something neat, you can start by looking in your refrigerator. So the first thing I did was I cut open a pepper, just a common green pepper that we were having for dinner. But instead of throwing out the middle, I decided to save the seeds. So you can do this too. What you'll need is some paper towel and a Ziploc bag and some tape. So if you simply fold your paper towel up and put it in a Ziploc bag, you can place those seeds inside. Actually, you will wet the paper towel first, because once you do that, the seeds will stick to the paper towel. And you basically have a little seed nursery here. So once you've wet your paper towel, you can take the seeds that you've removed from your pepper and sprinkle them along inside of the paper towel, like so. Now, I did try this experiment about a week ago, and I'll show you what the seeds look like now. It's a little shiny, but you can see that they've already started to sprout. So the tape is for, put a little bit of taping on the top and then hang it in a window in the sun. That way the seeds will start to germinate and sprout. Now these little guys, since they are already starting to sprout, now I know that I have viable seeds. Some vegetables will not sprout for you. Some have had things done to them so that they can't produce viable seeds, but others have, and these ones wound up working. If you buy organic food, you're more likely to have seeds work for you, but these peppers, I don't think were organic. I just happen to have that type in my refrigerator. But if you can see, I already got a little baby pepper here. So this little guy is ready to go into some soil, which I have here in a pot, and I'm just gonna put his root down in there and let the sprout stick out. So that one will hopefully start to grow and be happy as long as I water it and put it in the sun. So there's lots of different foods that you can experiment with. Here is a spaghetti squash that I've had on my counter for far too long, and I decided that I was going to cut it open and try to grow more spaghetti squash. These will most likely grow because I got these from a farm market nearby. And in fact, when I cut it open, it was so old, it actually did start to grow. This is a sprout. So this thing already wanted to make more spaghetti squashes. So you could do the same thing with these seeds, put them on the paper towel, place them in the baggie, and tape them to a window to see if they grow. Depending on what you have in your kitchen, you can play around and experiment. Zucchinis have little tiny seeds, but you could try those. You could even try some lemons or apples, but I know apples take a long time to sprout. Another cool thing you could do is if you have potatoes that have to have these what are they called? Eyes or sprouts on them. They will already start to grow on their own. A lot of people don't want to eat these, but what you can do is place them in some soil or place them outside in a bigger pot, and these will grow what's called seed potatoes, little tiny baby potatoes that will then make other potato plants, which will give you more potatoes. Sometimes strange things happen. This onion already started to grow itself as well. So I could technically go take this outside and plant it in the ground and get more onions out of it. You can also plant seeds, you can plant more plants from cuttings. So these are little green onions that you buy in the supermarket. They look longer though. When you get them, they come in a bundle and they look like this. So if you would like to make your green onions last longer, what you want to do is cut them. I've lost my knife. You want to cut them right to where the white part is. You can even go a little bit further down than that. And then you simply put them in a little jar of water, and the roots will absorb the water and the green shoots will start to grow up. And then these can just live on a windowsill and you can snip from the top and use them for your cooking. So I'm going to add that to my little green onion garden. Another food from the supermarket that you could experiment with if your family likes to cook with basil. These were basil plants that were cut and meant for eating right away, but we didn't use them all. So what I did was I snipped the bottom. They didn't come with roots, but I snipped the bottom so it had a nice clean stem, and then I placed it in a cup of water. And already, I'll pull these all out, you can see the roots are starting to grow. So now that these have roots, and they're pretty bushy roots, that means that this guy is ready to live on his own. So again, you could come to a pot of soil, place the basil in the soil, and give it a good watering, because it's a little shocking being moved from one place to another. And they will still need lots of water to establish themselves. So I think that's it, guys. There's lots of fun ways to experiment. You could even try avocado pits if you put those in water. There's different ways to grow things so that your food is not traveling so far. And then it's also nice to have some fresh vegetables or herbs, especially before everything else starts to grow. So this Earth Day, I hope that even though we can't really get outside to do too many things in public, maybe you can find something fun to do in your kitchen. Another fun thing to do for Earth Day is to find a place that needs some cleaning up. I personally am going to walk along my road with my children and pick up any litter I see and recycle it if I can. So that's the type of thing that you can also do to help out this Earth Day. We all live in different neighborhoods that might need different types of cleanup. If there's a local park nearby, maybe your parents or family member can take you to the park and you can clean up there and still remain socially distant from everybody. All right, everybody, I hope you have a happy Earth Day. And remember, Earth Day can be every day, and these different experiments and activities can be done at any time.